World War II. Where to start? And you certainly cannot cover all of World War II in a short video that you can post here online. I want to talk about the beginning of the war a little bit. Again, it's like World War I. The war started in Europe and did not automatically move to the United States. It started in 1939, officially, with the invasion of Poland. Germany invaded Poland in September of 1939. And with that, the British, the French, and the Russians were fighting against the Germans and the Italians and the Japanese. Now, Russia did not join the war immediately, but ended up joining the war before the United States did. Now, once again, the United States was content to let Europe fight it out. And in fact, if there was one lesson that the United States seemed to have taken from World War I, it was that we don't want to be involved with Europe at all. And that's why through the 20s and most of the 30s, the United States didn't do a whole lot with Europe. Again, Hitler famously came to power in Germany in the 1930s. The United States let it go. The British and the French did as well, mostly because they're taking the same lesson. They don't want another big war. But by 1939, the British and the French are in the war, and the United States is still on the fence. What it takes to get the United States into the war is the bombing at Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor was the base in Hawaii, still is, and the Japanese, who were fighting with the Germans and the Italians, decided to bomb Pearl Harbor. It might seem a little bit crazy, but the Japanese very much felt backed into a corner. They felt that there was no other way to do things with the United States except to go to war, and they thought that their best chance to win would be a surprise attack. You surprise them, and then you take out as much of their navy as you can in one swoop, and go on from there. So it was the attack at Pearl Harbor that really got things started for the United States in December of 1941. And by that point, the war had already been going on for 2 years. The United States fought on both fronts. They fought in Europe, and they fought in Japan, and in the Pacific. And it was not a guarantee that the Allies, the United States, the British, the French, and the Russians were going to win, but they did. Now, the interesting thing is that Germany and Italy surrendered before Japan did. So there was VE Day, or Victory in Europe Day, VE Day, before the Japanese surrendered. So what you had in the summer of 1945 was Germany and Italy had surrendered, Japan was still fighting, and really the United States was the only of the Allies with enough of a navy to fight in the Pacific and to fight the Japanese. The United States knew that, and they also knew that they had a new technology, the nuclear bomb. And it was secret, and they decided to try to keep it that way as best they could, although there are indications that Russia knew about the bomb and knew that it was there. And President Truman decided to use it. And President Truman had just become president. President Roosevelt had just died, and President Truman had been the vice president, so he moved up. And he did not have a lot of time as president before he had to decide whether or not to use the atomic bomb. They did it because they felt it would shorten the war, it would save lives in the long run, because a long invasion, hand-to-hand combat, that kind of thing in Japan proper would have been cataclysmic and awful for both sides. And so ultimately they decided to use it. Now, whether or not to use the atomic bomb has been up for debate ever since. And you can talk about that forever. So, I will be interested to see what your opinions are whether or not you think using the atomic bomb on Japan was a good idea or not. And as always, if you have any questions, please let me know. And happy